And I feel like I'm not worried to be misunderstood. I was misunderstood my whole life. Getting all those D's and F's in school. And when you're 7, 9, 11, 13, teachers and your friends' parents, that's the authority. And they all told me I was gonna be a fucking loser. There's a lot of people walking around right now that are tough on keyboards because they've never been really punched in the face.
Punched in the face.
You know, and so I'm an advocate for kids fighting. I'm being dead serious.
Me too.
I think we lost our balance. One of the reasons I woke up at 4 a.m. to be here this morning was because I wish 15-year-old Gary had Cannon's class.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, it is a privilege, pleasure, and honor to be in the space of a true scholar, academic in his own right, a thought leader, and a shapeshifter, somebody that I've always admired from afar and have recently gotten a chance to get to know from so many sides, but really admire his entrepreneurial state and building everything from Vcon to being an author of now 8 books, 6 business books, 1 book about wine, and then the newest children's book,
yes, sir,
which we have right here. The one and only, I gave him all those accolades, but the most important title, the father, Mr. Gary V.
My guy. Pleasure.
Pleasure, man. How you doing?
I'm good, other than my Jets broke my heart again yesterday.
It's always going to be that way. No matter when this airs, their Jets are breaking our hearts.
I need to stop booking things on Mondays in the fall and winter, but I'm, knock on wood, I'm really good. And it's a real honor to be here. I feel very much the same way about you. There's, you know, I think about people that really work and really build. And watching you over the last 2 decades plus has been a joy, so it's nice to be here.
Man, likewise, man. And I feel like there's so many places we could start, but obviously here in Cannon's class, man, we like to tap in with the experts in different spaces. So I always start the question off, man, like, what is Gary V an expert at? What's your expertise? What could you give expert advice on? I mean, you give so much great advice.
Yeah, I think if you put me in the corner and said you really got to give it for this crew right here, I would say I'm an expert in understanding where attention actually is. I really pay attention to people's eyes and ears. So my entire professional career, but even going back to being a professional, when I was slinging baseball cards and comic books, or even when I was selling lemonade or trying to shovel snow or mow people's lawns in Jersey,
right,
everything I ever did was try to figure out where the attention was. Which tree, which pole was the best lemonade sign? Right? Which table was the best at the show? What could I do at my table that would make all the people walking by stop and look at my cards? And then at my dad's liquor store, where do I put the signs? Where do they look when they first walk in?
Right.
What do they look at the register?
You just had that innately.
In it, exactly right. It's funny you bring that up. Like that is the reason I think I'm an expert in it is because it was innate and then I formed it and built on it for the last 40 years. Obviously today, that's been about marketing, like early on web, early on social media, early on mobile transformation, and early on the platforms. As a lot of people who are listening right now or watching definitely remember me 6 years ago yelling at them, TikTok, 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 TikTok. And so in the macro, which platform's about to pop, what's the next Instagram, what's the next TikTok, or in the micro, what's the best tactic to get noticed on LinkedIn or YouTube or on podcasts or on physical tours?
Right.
I would say my expertise sits in attention.
And you built the empire, an attention empire in this space to where now media, and this is probably where I would love to at least start for a moment, because we're in a state, even currently, where media can be used to manipulate, media can be used to help and motivate, and media can really, I mean, it's really it's about capitalism. At the end of the day, people are making a lot of money off of media, some in good ways, some in bad ways. There's a lot of transitioning and transformation happening from old media to new media.
That part. Because the first part you talked about is how it's always been.
Right.
You know, I don't know why. I was a really bad student, so I apologize for all the academics, but I think of my life academically. I think the format of school didn't fit me, but there was one class I crushed at, and that was history. And within history, there was some shit that I was really focused on. And this is weird. Like even today it's weird now that people are starting to understand what's going on, but as a kid, 30 years ago, when I was 14, 16, I was obsessed with coups. When governments would be overthrown.
Right.
you know, I was born in the Soviet Union, so maybe I was very affected by communism versus, you know, democracy. But I love the news, I love paying attention, and I really paid attention to it. And the thing that most caught me, Nick, and now I understand it, back then I didn't, and this is why I'm jumping on this point. I was always fascinated that when the army would try to throw over the dictator, they would go to the newspaper and the radio and the TV station at the same time that they would go get the guy or the gal at the palace. And intuitively, I was like, damn, media is everything. So yeah, we got the internet now and social media and everyone's trying to point fingers at it. But since the printing press, the radio and the television were invented, those mediums have been used by governments, by businesses, by human beings to storytell and dictate to what those people wanted people to know. When the printing press was invented, the far majority of books that first came out were printed by religious institutions.
Right.
And here we are hundreds of years later, and religion's a big fucking deal in our world.
Yeah.
So to me, the only thing that changed is that every human has access to the media now.
Right.
That's huge, and that's why we're seeing a lot of shit.
Are we afraid of now AI controlling media, or at least the...
Well, I think the AI part, that I'm not afraid of it, but it's gonna be one step backwards. I think this is gonna hit for everyone in the room and definitely at home. Video has actually been the judge and jury of our society. Video.
Yep.
Video proof. Like, that's how we know Kennedy got assassinated.
Yep.
That's how we know there was a war, like video.
And
Rodney
now-
King in his town, like we knew anything you want. The Trump assassination, like we know, like if we didn't have that video proof, I'm sure a lot of people would be skeptical if it even happened.
Right.
Now we have deep fake videos coming.
Yes.
You and I, in the next 10 years, are gonna be all over the internet saying shit that we never said because somebody's gonna type in, I want Gary to use the N-word, I want Nick to say this, and positive things and negative things. And
we'll be physically doing stuff too.
Oh, it's gonna look, just so you know, in 36 months, there'll be a video. By the way, they'll take the clip of this and change what we're saying to each other.
Yeah.
What's that mean? Play out the chess moves. It means that no one's gonna believe anything on video. And this is why I get bullish on the blockchain, because I think that technology, right now, it's confusing. You know, obviously there's Bitcoin, there was the ridiculousness of the greed, but the importance of NFTs. There's a lot of stuff there. But that as a ledger to control truth, I think will become prominent over the next 10 years. But yeah, I mean, AI is gonna change the world in a way that I think most people don't understand yet. You know, I don't know, for example, this is some real talk. I don't know if you've put your name, image, and likeness into a trust for your kids.
Right.
But the fact that in 50 years, I could have a meeting with Nick Cannon and he can teach me of comedic timing, and all the things you've ever put in every interview will feed the AI and it will feel like I'm sitting in a room with you. The fact that your great grandkids can sell that is crazy. Imagine right now if you could buy an hour with Albert Einstein to talk to him for real. Would you? I would.
Yeah.
Just to do it.
Right.
If it felt real.
Yeah.
So look, I think people get crazy with technology. They think like when they're alive, shit stops. If we dug up our great-great-grandparents right now and showed them the world, internet, phone, they would lose their minds.
Yeah.
Electricity was do you know electricity was demonized when it first came out?
Really?
People were scared to put electricity in their home because the rumor was that it was demons. So most people still stayed on candles. People hold on. They are scared of technology. I think it's gonna be massive, but I'm not scared of it. I'm trying to understand it.
Yeah. That's wise, man. And you said so many things there, and definitely want to unpack it. But I think one thing that was super important is when you tap into what's the truth. Because even without, you know, the
deep fakes and all that.
Yeah, it's like the truth is subjective. You know what I mean? And
That part.
It's my truth, it's your truth, and my perspective and your perspective. And you've been so outspoken, you know, throughout the time that we've all gotten a chance to know you. And you live by your truth. I mean, I feel like you're the type of person like, yo, Gary said it, then that's how it is from his perspective. Where did that come from?
Losing a lot, not being scared of the system. I think, you know, I was an immigrant. I come to America. We live in dirt neighborhoods. I'm sure I don't have to tell a lot of people who are listening what dirt neighborhoods bring. Right. You learn real quick. You build up your instincts real quick. 80s, I grew up in the 80s. Kids that are listening right now, we used to go outside all day. My parents didn't know where the fuck I was. Kids that are listening, I want to tell you something real quick. You're going to laugh at this. I've been using this lately because it just blows my mind. In the 80s, at 10 p.m. on television, a commercial would come on and say, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your kids are? Because our parents literally didn't know. We were literally out there like that. Yep. They might have forgot. And so, you know, I think where my realness comes from is I'm not scared. Yeah. I'm not scared because I love people. I want good. My intent is real off the charts. That's again, lucky DNA, great parenting, right? I got real good DNA. Like I'm nice, and then my mom molded it and really molded it. So I know I want good for people. I'm trying to win-win, but not at someone else's expense. Right. I think it's a huge issue in the world right now. People think somebody else has to lose for them to win. Yeah. So I feel like I have good intent. And I feel like I'm not worried to be misunderstood. I was misunderstood my whole life. Getting all those D's and F's in school, every parent. And when you're 7, 9, 11, 13, teachers and your friends' parents, they're grown-ups. Right. That's the authority. And they all told me I was gonna be a fucking loser. Right. And I was in my own shit like, I'm not. I never understood, even back then, I was like, how do these people think I'm a loser? And they talked about being a professional loser, right? A grown-up. I'm not gonna be able to like live. And I would always be like, man, I made $1,300 this weekend selling Ken Griffey Jr. and Barry Sanders rookie cards. That's more money than my teachers make, prorated 52 times a year. Right. How are these people telling me I'm gonna be a garbage man? Which, by the way, that was the 80s thing. That's a good ass job. They had it wrong too. You get paid, and you retire. Anyway, nonetheless. So and sports, I played sports all the time. And as you could tell, I'm not fucking LeBron. So I took plenty of L's that way. Plus I fought a lot. Like, I really think when kids scrap, like a real punch, like I think it matters a little bit. I think you get there's a lot of people walking around right now that are tough on keyboards because they've never been really punched in the face.
Been punched in the face.
You know, and so I really do think getting punched in the face is a good thing. I'm an advocate for kids fighting. I'm being dead serious. Me too. I think we lost our balance. So I think for me, grown-ups told me I sucked, got into fights, played a lot of sports and lost a lot. And grew up in a fucking Soviet immigrant family where like my mom wasn't hearing it. Right. So like if I was looking to disrespect, I was getting smacked in the face. I think kids disrespect parents way too much now. Way too much. Parents forget about spanking. Parents don't even ground you no more. Yeah. I think that's lost. So I think the reason you get what you get is if my family was that way, if my neighborhood was that way, and I wasn't scared, the fuck am I gonna be scared of somebody on the other side of a fucking screen that I don't know, Nick? Right. You think I'm worried about Johnny Pants 19? You think I'm worried about Sarah Thompson 63 saying she don't agree? I'm not scared.
Yeah, that's real talk, man. So diving into the origin story a little bit more, do you think you have this perspective? Is a little bit of that New York? Is that
100%?
I was about to say, people who come from New York are just built different.
Not only Jersey, I went Queens and Jersey, but also I went to fucking Martin Luther King Elementary School. Oh, yeah. Let me promise you what Martin Luther King Elementary School looked like in the 80s.
You was around us.
That's exact. And by the way, I got real lucky. Not only was I lucky enough to be around y'all, my shit was crazy. I post my second grade pictures sometimes on social just to make people realize what the benefits of diversity is. Not only did I have black kids, I had literally my second grade class was like 30 people. You guys know, you've seen the picture. Like literally 5 Asian kids, 5 Indian kids, 6 black kids. It was so mixed, but we were all lower income. Right. And so nobody was being handed shit. Right. So of course it comes a little bit from that. Yeah. But it also comes from the opposite side. So that's the tougher part. It comes from the warm side too. I think when I talk, I'm trying to make it good for you, not trying to act tough. Yeah. The content I'm trying to put out is like, I'm trying to shake people like, yo, you can do this. Right. Yeah. Like you can actually do this.
You have inspired many with that.
You know, so I think it comes from a warmth too. So not only maybe outside my home was a little bit tough in the first 15 years of my life, especially, But inside my home, my mom was warmth, rainbows, love, be kind to everyone. She was that person, that emotional stability for everyone I saw. My auntie, my grandma, like neighbors. She was that beacon of like positivity and optimism, but no delusion.
Yeah.
She would tell you like, you gotta work.
Yeah.
You gotta fix this. So I think I got very fortunate, my guy.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So I want to stay in the space of school for a second.
Let's do it.
Because you talked about Martin Luther King Elementary, and even you saying that you probably weren't the best student.
No.
Let's talk, because this is an academic podcast, and probably in a sense where it's not traditional. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that are gaining information from Cannon's class that, you know, is degree worthy, but don't have the means or the process to go through, you know, as what the value of a degree, this expensive ass piece of paper that, you know,
By the way, one of the
for.
reasons I woke up at 4 a.m. to be here this morning was because I wish 15-year-old Gary had Cannon's class. I wish I grew up in this era where I knew the school system wasn't feeding me, but I would have been devouring content like this. So thank you for doing it.
No doubt, and that's really what I want to discuss. The school systems today. I mean, as a father, and even, you know, necessarily not being the greatest student during your process, how important is the education system to be successful, to be the next Gary V?
For 40% of the people listening, very. There's, you know, successful like Gary V entrepreneurship, that's not a classroom thing. That's like telling people you got to go to class to learn about basketball. Of course you got to watch film. Of course you got to know the game, but practice is on the court. Entrepreneurship's on the court, you know that. Entrepreneurship plays out in real life. That being said, I think successful like me is not based on me being a good entrepreneur, nor do I want that or require that, or my hopes and dreams for everyone is that, though if you are one, I hope that for you. My success is about self-awareness, Nick. My success is about waking up most 90% of mornings hyped and ready to go and grateful. That success is what I actually wish on everyone. So back to your question, 40% of the people better listen real careful and say, hear me out. School is your path. You are a corporate animal. You are in structure.
Right.
Like the amount of people, so I own a very large advertising agency. We work with thousands of executives over the last 15 years. The CEOs and CMOs, chief marketing officers, head of marketing, analytics, AI, of the biggest companies in the world. Some of these people are brilliant. Some of these people that I've met in the last 15 years, Nick, they make millions of dollars a year. They have millions of dollars in stock options of the biggest companies in the world, which they're gonna cash out on.
Right.
And they would have made $0 in entrepreneur land.
Right.
Got it?
Yeah.
They
need there's the structure. They're the worker bees.
Getting a piece of paper from Howard is how they got everything.
Yeah.
And so this is a story of, do you know yourself? If you're a hustler kid that's a salesman, that has a learning disability when it comes to reading, you are gonna lose in school. I know unlimited of them.
Facts.
But if you know that you want to be a lawyer and then that's going to lead to your business world, or you know you want to go into corporations, you want to work at Tesla or Google or, you know, OpenAI, like going to Harvard and Yale and Howard matters. You just have to know how you learn and how you live. I'm just glad, especially for the people in this room, we all know. We all came up. If you didn't go to college, you were a piece of shit. Like that was like, you're the worst. Now it's finally turning and kids have options. So for half the people listening, the education school system that's in place is a very good framework for them to go and enjoy it because it's easy to them. But the other half that are like me, like you need to think about it different. And the number one thing you cannot do is you cannot take on debt from a college for a piece of paper that's gonna do jack fucking shit for you.
Facts.
If mommy and daddy are gonna pay for college, go. I did. I was such a bad student. I went to Mount Ida College, which was in Newton, Massachusetts. It was like a junior college. You wanted to, by the way, it made Martin Luther King look like the penthouse in the Upper East Side of Manhattan. This place was.
So your college was worse than your elementary school.
Nick, when I tell you 97% of what I did in college was play spades, CeeLo, and Madden.
Now you gotta get you on the Spades podcast.
Bro, I'm ready. I stun people at Dwayne Wade's Spades party at NBA All-Star.
Yeah.
They see me, they don't know.
They
I'm
don't
a
think
sheep.
yeah.
They think I'm a sheep. I'm a wolf in that game.
He said I play Spades, CeeLo, and Madden. That's what I learned. I love it.
That's what I did in college. But I went for one reason. My parents wanted me to.
Right.
And I was like, if you want me to, you've got to pay for it.
Right.
And they did. So for the kids listening, if mommy and dad are going to pay for it, go.
Right.
I had 4 years of vacation.
Right.
But if they're not, which is the way it is for a lot of people, please listen to me. It is 2024. You're probably listening to this in 25, 26, 27. That piece of paper's ROI against the debt you take no longer exists. In the 60s, yes. You know, it wasn't very expensive. You take on a little debt, you get a nice job at Ford. 3 years later, you're paid off and you go. Not in 2025. Do not take on college debt.
Wow.
Please be careful of it. Especially if you're entrepreneurial like me.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be a lawyer or a doctor, if you know you're a corporate animal, maybe that debt will play out for you in 15 years, but you better be mentally prepared to not enjoy 22 to 32.
Yeah.
You're gonna live real rough paying off that debt.
Yeah.
And by the way, that might be the right move for a lot of people. You know, that's their best way to get there at
like
32.
you said, for a doctor, that makes sense.
But I really want to make sure all my creative people, all my salesmen, all my entrepreneurial people, my artsy people, please, there's no stigma anymore of not going to college. Nobody gives a fuck. My company is a real legit company, the hottest Madison Avenue agency in the world. We don't even require a college degree. I couldn't tell you what college 99% of my employees go to.
Wow.
Have no fucking clue.
Wow.
Doesn't matter.
It's amazing.
And by the way, Google, Facebook, real companies are taking it out of the equation because they're not getting the best talent. Some of the best engineers, these kids are like, fuck college. I'm gonna make $1 million on the side, building a little app. That's exactly who Google wants.
Yeah.
It's becoming like sports out here.
Yeah.
Nobody gave a fuck that LeBron didn't go to college.
At all.
So I think business is starting to become like sports. Talk to me about your talent,
Yeah.
not about what box you checked.
So let's talk society in that space just for a moment.
Please.
And as a father.
Yes. I got one of each.
Yeah.
My daughter's moonwalking to an Ivy if she wants to.
Right.
And my son, I own a sports agency. My son is 12 trying to recruit players when we go to games now. Like, I'm like, bro, you might not even go to high school. I might need you right now.
Little agent, little Jerry Maguire.
My man X is like, Xander is like, he might be the best sports agent in the world at 18. I'm not trying to waste too much time. I need that man. So, you know, that's real life.
But society still believes, and even if we're just talking socially, you know, especially because most of these kids are handicapped by these screens and don't really know how to interact. There's an experience that you get when you leave the nest and go home.
Which I believe in.
Yeah. Like you, Spades, CeeLo, Madden.
Oh my God. My basketball game got way up after 4 years in Ida. Listen, yes, but I'm going to say something again. This is the counter argument to me all the time. Gary, you always talk about college this way, but what about growing up this? I'm like, bet, yes. Let me ask you a question. Is it better to spend $200,000 and incur massive debt at high percentage to pay that off? Or is it better to spend $50,000 to go and live in Asia or Europe and get it? Like, like when parents are like,
see the world, grow up there.
Go to fucking Thailand. You'll grow up quick and learn plenty of shit and make money and have fun and live like a king with $80.
Yeah.
Why are we taking $230,000 in debt for some bullshit college? Like, yes, from 18 to 22, you grow up. No shit. You're growing up.
You're gonna grow up somewhere.
But like this concept, like we got to send them to it. I promise you, I got a kid in my company, Adam, who didn't go to school. He works in our company. He's grown up plenty quick.
Yeah.
He's wired into New York restaurant scene with Aton. He's around Sid and Zach and Dustin, grown-ass men, young men, and he's learning from them. Yes, there's some great shit that you miss out on, like dorm life, keg party. Yes, but fuck, man, I promise you when Adam's 32, he'll be just right. He'll have everything he missed out on, and then some, plus some, and some more.
I love it. All right, so still in the origin story space,
Yes.
I need to know Gary V's lowest point, because normally when the superhero or the villain, we always see their lowest point, and that's where they become the superhero or the villain.
I think my lowest point is yet to come. I have not lost a core family member yet.
Wow.
So I got unlucky and lucky. I got unlucky because in Russia, in the Soviet Union, it was bad.
Yeah,
The reason people know Russians to drink vodka, everyone was depressed. People don't realize how bad that place was.
Yeah.
It was a jail.
Yeah.
The USSR from 1917 to 1989 was more like North Korea. You couldn't leave.
Wow.
So it's not like Iran or other places right now where you could actually leave.
Yeah.
You couldn't leave. So both my grandfathers died before I got to know them. My grandmother, my mom's mom died at 5. Most of my family was killed during the Holocaust, like extended family, so we have a very small family. So, and my parents were 22 and 20 when they had me.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a blessing.
They're still rocking with
Yeah, my parents are coming to London with me for this Jets game. So, you know, I believe my lowest, I live life, here's why I'm answering this. Nothing, Nick, public shaming, losing lots of money, nothing in professional life
Right.
is real to me.
Yeah.
Real talk.
Yeah.
I'm detached as fuck from Gary V.
Right.
Mean it.
Right. I'll get that.
But in real life, when I lose my mom or dad, or God fucking forbid, I don't even want to say it out loud.
Yeah, you don't have to say that.
Yeah, lose someone who I'm not supposed to lose before I go.
Yeah.
I'm finished. I tell my people all the time, like when my parents go, like don't, because everything's on my back. I'm like, you need to make sure you know I'm out for 30 days because I need to really deal with that. Because those are my, like, I'm the byproduct of those two in a real fucking way. And I know that's gonna hit me.
Yeah.
And I almost think I talk it like this way, almost to like
Prepare yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the therapy of it. Like I'm trying to build a foundation to be ready for it.
Yeah.
But outside of catastrophic death
Yeah.
of my inner circle,
There is no
everything
low point.
else is noise.
Yeah. Really? So, that's a great perspective if we break that down for a second, because really what you're saying is the importance of family and the importance of love and connection to your tribe is so much more valuable than anything that can happen in the space of business and even self-motivation in that sense, because you know, we all get down, we all go through shit, but at the end of the day, you're like, look, I got another chance.
You're gonna like this, because again, watching you from afar, and we share some friendships, big shout out Watt, and we're gonna get close for the rest of our lives, and I'm looking forward to that. What day isn't loaded with adversity for you and I? We got too much shit going on. Like, I flew out here, got up at 4, I was up late last night, so I slept a couple hours. I was supposed to talk to Sid, but I needed some sleep. I wake up, we got 2 hours left in this flight. I gotta do some email, but I log on, and there's 700 emails and text, and 13 headaches. I got a problem in my Japan office right now. There was something that went down in New York that I'm not happy about right now.
Right.
There's not, like, when I hear people complain about shit, I'm like, that's my everyday.
Every day.
I believe the reason you and I can do a lot of stuff is our capacity to eat shit and deal with adversity.
Yeah.
The reason most people don't do a lot of shit is they can't deal with it. The stuff that I hear people complaining about, again, losing, like the things that people are like, oh, this was a low point. I'm like, that's about money. I'm like, that's about ego. I'm like, that's about like selfish like acts. Like to me, none of that is a problem. I want to be as successful as possible. I'm trying to buy the New York Jets. They're going to cost me $10 billion. Like, I'm trying to build. And when things get fucked up, this year's been challenging. Both VFriends, my Pokemon brand, and VaynerX, my holding company for marketing, my 2 biggest companies, I would say both of them were a challenge this year. My 3 here will shake their head right now. I've been in the muck. They know. I've been in the office 12 hours a day, not doing the Gary Vee thing. Haven't been really on tour speaking, haven't been doing shit like this. I've been in it every day grinding. I wouldn't call this like a easy year.
Not for anyone.
You know, it was a challenge, but there's also a part of me that's a little bit like, I'm a little fucked up when it comes to the game in a good way, I think. I like the adversity. Like I like being in the dirt. Like my favorite Rocky is when he lost everything and was back to zero. Like I get that. Like I like, you know, I feel like I'm a superhero in some ways where like, or in a movie where like, you know how like the lead gets punched in the face and like gets really punched in the face and he like spits a tooth out and he's bleeding and he looks back at you and now you know you're in trouble.
Yeah.
That's how I fuck with life. Like when life punches me in the fucking face, I'm like, okay, life, I'm about to fuck you up in good, you know, and so I'm okay with being in that. But to answer your question, yeah, that little thing, the love of my 7, 10, 12, 15 inner circle. Then the second tier is the people around me every day, they become family to me, then I can start worrying about dumb shit like, oh fuck, I fucked up that investment, or my business is in trouble, or I gotta shut down this business because it's not going as well. But like people booing me and making fun of me of my public losses doesn't even register.
Right.
I think it's athletics for me.
Yeah.
If my beloved Jets and Knicks reacted every time the home crowd booed them, they'd be off. They wouldn't be them.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think
you got to use that as fuel.
Nick, I think humans, and you know this, you've been famous your whole fucking for a long ass time. Every person's now going through being judged by everyone because of social media.
Right.
And you know this, most people don't have the stomach for it.
Yeah.
You've watched a lot of people through the years of you coming up in Hollywood and fame who checked out, or who left, or who didn't get to the levels they could because they didn't have the stomach for the feedback.
Yeah. Like right now, you get it more than ever before.
Because it comes from everywhere,
Yeah.
right? And you can't control it. When you were coming up as a youngster, if you had a good PR team, if you had connections, the New York Times wouldn't write that shit.
Yeah.
You know, like there was a different game. Now, some young bloggers trying to come up, and they're gonna expose your shit.
Yeah.
And that's just the world we live in now.
It truly is. But you've been able to control your narrative.
Mainly because I'm tight. Meaning I'm not doing a lot of shit. Like, I haven't been able to control it. Real talk, I really haven't. Meaning, I just don't do that much shit.
You don't have to control it.
Like, yeah, I'm just like, I'm with my family, or I'm working, or I'm at the Jets and Knicks games, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, it truly, I haven't controlled it. What I did well was I understood it. I knew in 06, back to what I do for a living, I knew in 06 that no one was gonna hide. So whatever dumb shit I was contemplating, you know, I was like, I knew that I was gonna get there. I knew I was gonna be known, and I knew everyone was gonna know everyone's business. And then I got lucky, and I'm not trying to do too much dumb shit anyway.
Right.
And that's, I controlled it by controlling myself.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. I mean, it's a great perspective. One of the things that I can definitely say I was super impressed by, and just even getting to experience it firsthand, and I would love to know how you even created it. I mean, I heard a few rumblings and stories of how it all came about, but Vcon, I mean, what made you want to create that? I mean, it's changing the world. It's inspiring so many, but then just to bring the amount of people together, what was your ultimate purpose? And, you know, go ahead and talk your shit a little bit about all of the stats, because I know you're killing it.
Yeah, before I talk about the 3 years of Vcon, which is a lot of fun and you'll find it interesting, I think for the academic students here, they'll find it interesting. I do want to say, we've done it 3 years, and I want to give you some flowers as well. You crushed that fireside chat. Got enormous accolades.
Oh, thank you.
And I think, and for me, it was really exciting because one of the reasons I really wanted you there is I'm going to continue the flower tour. I think you're wildly, pun intended, underrated as an operator and an entrepreneur, and really your work ethic.
Oh, thank you.
And so I was excited for my audience to get a sense of you a little bit more than besides however they've crossed paths with you. So 3 years ago, VFriends started. I knew I wanted to build a Pokemon meets Marvel world. And I saw NFTs as a way to do that, similar to the way that Harry Potter did it through a book, similar to the way that Pokemon did it through trading cards and video games, similar to how Disney did it through animation, Marvel through comic books. I'm a big studier of how IP is built.
Right.
And IP is built in every medium, but it always starts with something. And I noticed 3-4 years ago that the NFT thing was gonna be real, and I still believe it. I know that most people listening, and this is why I'm bringing it up, got caught up in the greed and the ridiculousness of the NFT summer 2 years ago. But please do your homework on what non-fungible tokens are, what the blockchain is. And I do believe, like art, if you go back to the history of contemporary art in the 50s, 60s, and 70s in New York, 99% of those artists aren't worth anything.
Right.
But Jackson Pollock and Andy Warhol, worth a lot. And the same thing's gonna happen with NFTs. That crazy 3 years ago, 99% are gonna go to zero. I made videos about it at the time.
Right.
But I expect VFriends to be one of the 5 to 7 that become highly collectible. So, but when I launched it, I also wanted to use the full advantage of NFTs. And what that was it wasn't just a digital collectible, it was also a ticket to 3 years of a super conference. Since I spoke on the stage at South by Southwest in 2009, I've always wanted to have my own.
Right.
And that's what Vcon is.
Right.
But I knew that I wanted something different. I wanted tech and I wanted business, but I wanted more mindset.
Right.
And I wanted to put on the right kind of people. So 10,000 people last 3 years, max 10,000 people. We get about 7,000 or 8,000 depending on the year. We did Indianapolis, we did Minnesota. I wanted to do smaller cities, big cities, but smaller cities than LA, New York, Miami, just to take over the town. This year I went for it, did it LA live, wanted to do it in LA. And I appreciate it. I could even feel it because we got it a few minutes after.
Yeah.
You could tell it's a different thing.
Yeah.
The energy's proper. It's this balance. The reason my book's purple, the reason my kid's book is called Meet Me in the Middle, the reason, if you've been listening to me the last 30 minutes in here, I'm obsessed with the middle. Purple, not red, not blue, it's purple.
Yeah.
It's not like Republicans or Democrats have everything right. A normal human being can see that they like some shit from both.
Yeah.
But right now we're in this era where you gotta be all the way here or all the way there.
Right.
Meet me in the middle. Parenting, I've already brought it up. I know that parents love their kids, but we've over-coddled these fuckers. They can't live life. We've made zoo animals, then we set them out into the jungle and they get eaten in 1 second.
Yeah.
Because we're over-coddling. So that's why, so my whole purpose is to get people in the middle. I'm about that rugged life, fight, win, competition, fuck 8th place trophies. I'm about that.
Yeah.
But I'm also about compassion, kindness, being a good fucking mentor, loving fucking people. So that's what the whole jam of Vcon is, the middle.
Meet me in the middle. I love it, man. And it's really, it has, I learned so much in just hearing other people's stories and their journeys and stuff. And it's just like so many entry points and so many components of bringing entrepreneurs together, bringing motivational speakers together, bringing that everyday
Health
person.
and wellness. Like,
yeah.
Somebody interviewed me at Super Bowl. I was done with Radio Row. Some kid just rolled up on me in the camera. He goes, Gary, what's your take on health and business? And I said, if I'm dead, I'm out of business. That was the entire video. We posted that. The amount of people over the last 5-7 years that I posted that reached out to me about that. So we talk a lot about health.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm go, but I sleep 7-8 hours a day. It's the 16 hours that I'm awake that I go hard.
Right.
So that old era when people are like, oh, I only sleep 3 hours, I'm like, that's bad.
Yeah.
Like that, you're gonna lose.
Yeah.
Like, so it's a whole plethora of things that need to be in balance if you really want to go there.
Yeah.
And even if you don't want to go to the places you and I have gone, just finding your own happiness in whatever achievements you're trying to do professionally or personally. Like I can tell you right now, especially with the way the world is right now, the people I probably admire most are parents that are doing it right. Because I think most have it wrong. And I'm not trying to judge parents, it's the hardest job, I'm one. But like, when people are like, who do you admire? I'm like, parents.
Yeah.
Who really find the middle. Because I think parents are too left, too right.
Love it, man. You know, you're dropping so many gems in this session in the class. And normally how I wrap the session up, we always talk about lessons.
Yeah.
What would be Gary V's greatest life lesson?
Man, I think it's, to me, it's captured in this sentence. Life is how you see it. If you're looking for the world to be fucked up, got good news for you. Open your phone, turn on the television, grab a newspaper, you can get it fed to you all day. But if you want to see positivity, let me say it this way, Nick. This is actually crazy ass shit. Today, 99.99999% of human interactions with each other are going to be wonderful, nice, kind, and at least cordial and respectful. 99.999%, I'm serious on this, are going to be minimally neutral, cordial, all the way up to nice and kind. And the world spends all of its time on the tens of thousands, because there's a lot of interactions in the world, on the tens of thousands of 0.0001 horrible, negative things. Life is how you see it.
Right.
Life is how you see it. You want to say everything's fucked up? Knock yourself out. You will. The biggest life lesson that I believe that I've learned is choose fucking optimism, not delusion. You got to be practical. You got to fucking work. But like, stop buying all the bullshit everyone's selling. The whole world is selling fear right now to control your ass. Fear. I don't buy it.
It's a great lesson. Man, all the accomplishments, everything from the space of being a businessman to being a motivator to being a restaurateur, everything, man. An author.
Yeah, I got to get you to Fly Fish Club, my guy. When are you in New York next?
Next week.
Good. Come through. We built this is just super random ass shit, but maybe this is valuable to somebody. New York is going through what London went through. If you've ever been to London, anybody, most of the best restaurants are private clubs.
Yeah.
New York, big shout out Zero Bond. They changed all of New York. Scott's amazing. And now all these clubs are popping up. I live in a building with ZZ's, which is amazing. Yeah. But I opened up Fly Fish Club. The first week was crazy last week. Yeah. I'm excited about it.
Nah, count me in. I'll definitely pull up to the club. I got to ask this though, and wrapping it up. One of the most successful people I've ever sat across in so many ways, not just business and entrepreneurial, but as a father, as someone who lives their life just in a solid way. What is Gary V's 5 steps to success?
1, be kind, comma, to yourself first. 2, it's fucking work. Do not buy any of the bullshit they're selling you that there's some quick scheme, some shortcut, somebody got lucky. It's always work. 3, if you've got employees, you work for them, they don't work for you. This is a huge one, Nick.
Really?
Yeah, I'm curious how your journey's been. I don't know you like that. We'll get to know you. Like, I think the moment you realize that just because you pay someone their salary doesn't mean that you fucking can treat them like shit, that you own them like that. Like the second your mind shifts to, I work for them, it gets crazy. 4, absolute life lesson. Pay attention where the attention is. We didn't go as deep into it, but this latest book, the fact that everybody who's listening's dream can be achieved if they got epic at TikTok or Instagram or YouTube Shorts blows my mind. And 5, none of this shit really matters. On some real shit. This is, and I'll give you the tactic for this. If you leave this show with anything, go volunteer for 1 hour at a retirement home. 1 hour. Spend 1 hour with somebody who's 90, that's not your grandpa or grandma, and really chop with them. 1 hour. And you will realize everything you complain about is nonsense. When you're 90, you just wish you spent more time with people you loved, and you wish you did shit you liked. Too many people are just doing shit they don't like in a relationship. Right. Professionally.
Facts.
One life, man. You're dead. You're dead forever.
Yeah.
You weren't born forever. You got this little fucking R.I.P. Dikembe Mutombo. Yeah. You see that today? Yeah. Broke my heart, man. Like your life is short. I remember when that incredible dude was at Georgetown. He was a kid. Now he's gone. Yeah. Just like, it's so fucking live.
They say what we get at best, we get about 30,000 days, and that's if we're healthy.
It's crazy, man. It's just,
Yeah,
just squeeze the shit out of this.
You maybe get 80 summers. What you gonna do with them?
Stop crying about dumb shit. I know your boss is a dick. I know your sister said something nasty. I get that you had a flat tire, but all this shit is nonsense.
Yeah. Man, that's powerful. Step 1, be kind to yourself.
To yourself. You can't be, the reason most people aren't nice right now is because they're not happy.
Yeah.
If you're not nice to yourself, you're finished.
Yeah. And you said 2, work. No way around it.
Please tell them, Nick.
You gotta hustle.
Bro, you really lived it.
I do, in fact.
You really live it.
And still, even when people were like, man, why do you work so hard? Still, it's like, it's just in me. I don't know. I enjoy it. My vocation is my vacation. I live by that. Like,
I would rather work than ski, than play tennis, than go sailing, than lay on a beach. It's my game.
Yeah. Then 3, employees. You work for them.
It's a big one.
That's a big one.
I think so.
At that level, you know what I mean? Everybody won't get the opportunity to have that.
But even if somebody has 2 employees, if you're a 3-person accounting firm, if you don't realize that those 2 people, you work for them, and it goes to other places, like coaches, you're coaching for them. They don't. It's not about your team. It's not your titles. It's their like once you go to that place, it changes.
Yeah. And 4, pay attention to where the attention is.
Yeah, if you want to be mayor in your town, understand Facebook. Like if you want to get out of your shitty job, you can. Put number 2 and number 4 together. Work. Instead of coming home and watching Netflix, why don't you start a Shopify and sell some shit? Why don't you go to Whatnot and Fanatics Live and learn how to do live shopping? That's the next game. Like you could work, and if you know where the attention is, you will maximize, and then you can make a living and then finally leave your job. Your side hustle at night can get you out of your shit job. Your complaining at night is not getting you anywhere.
Right. And like you said, last but not least, none of this shit matters.
That's what makes everything from 1 to 4 easy. Once you realize that, all those hard things from 1 to 4 become manageable.
Love it, my brother. Candace class, session adjourned. We out of here. Like, subscribe, do all those things. My man Gary V.